Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our podcast where we engage with inspiring academicians and researchers who are shaping the future of education and research. Today, we are delighted to have Dr. Pallavi, an assistant professor at Nasim Monji Institute of Management and Studies, one of India's leading universities. Dr. Pallavi has extensive experience in the field of commerce education with a strong research focus on banking and insurance sector. She holds a PhD in commerce along with UGC NET and KACT qualifications and has published several research papers in reputed journals, presented her work at various national and international conferences. Her academic work explores important issues related to financial services, banking systems, and the evolving landscape of insurance industries, especially in the context of technology and policy changes. We are excited to have her with us today to discuss her research journey, insights on the banking and insurance sector, and guidance for aspiring researchers. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Palliman.
Thank you.
To begin with, how did your PhD research shape your interest in banking and insurance sector?
Okay, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, how my interest in banking and insurance, my specialization in my post graduation and undergraduation is banking and insurance. So later, over a period of time, I realized the importance of banking and insurance to the system, and I had a interest of becoming a bank manager, and apparently moved to the academics. So thereby, I thought, okay, let me do a research on banking, and thereby I adopted the topic that is bank assurance, where bank providing insurance service to the people, and thereby now also after post my PhD also I'm continuing the legacy by doing research and all. Yeah.
Thank you. From your research and expertise, what are some major challenges currently faced by the banking and insurance industries in India?
Yeah. So during my keynote address, I mentioned the successfulness of Jandan Yojana, making the people who are from grassroots level to open a bank account and adopting insurance service. Though there were around 57 crores of bank account opened, the number of active accounts are questionable. People have opened the account for namesake, and now that operating the account is a big challenge. Okay, that is one. With regard to insurance, people are still need to be knowing the importance of having an insurance service. Paying premium, they think that it is just a mere payment of money and it is a waste of money. But when the risk occurs, when the problem occurs, then insurance will come for the rescue. Otherwise, we know currently what is the amount of money which is charged for the medical services. So insurance is a mode of rescue, but people, not only the people who are from grassroots level economically weaker section, but also those who are literate people also have, thinking that whatever premium they pay, it is a dead investment. They are not realizing the post they are not realizing the risk or uncertainties which is there in the future. So this need to be addressed. And though the regulatory bodies are taking various initiative to create awareness, but still there are incidents wherein people are not taking the insurance or banking service very seriously. Yeah.
You have presented research at several academic platforms. How important are national and international conferences in advancing research collaboration and knowledge sharing?
uh, Conferences are very important because conferences take the topics which are emerging in nature. Okay, any sector for that matter, continuous invention, innovation, changes are taking place. So the very platform to discuss the changes, discussing the impact, the opinions will take place only in conferences. And in the conferences, who will participate? The knowledge enthusiasts. Okay, the experts will participate in the conference. Their view on particular topic is very important, and in my opinion, conferences are very important. uh, just as a faculty, if I go and teach in the class, then I am missing the very good opportunity of meeting the experts and taking their inputs, and I can take the input to my class post participating the conference as well. So conferences are very important.
As a faculty member, how do you integrate your research findings in the classroom teaching to make learning more relevant for students?
Yes, integrating the research in classroom learning depends on which uh, stream of students you are teaching, whether you are teaching undergraduates or whether you are teaching the postgraduate students. Teaching postgraduate students, yeah, I can motivate them to do research, I can guide them, but undergraduate students, they neither, mature nor immature in that age they are, so they don't know the importance of research, so making them to understand is a biggest challenge. And apart from that, when I teach, I do take some learning from my research, learning from the conferences, the input which I've gathered from the conferences to the classroom. And also I have designed one out of class academic activity called as Bankopolis, wherein various innovations starting from emergence of banking till today have been taken into consideration, and the around 200 students are made into around five groups each, and each group has been given some topic, and people from across the particular state or from the other institutes were called, and they were asked to participate, and these students are made to make a model, and they were asked to go in depth with regard to emergence and its effect and all. So thereby, yes, I have integrated in my teaching, but integration of these learning in teaching is a challenging, and it requires planning, proper execution, etc. Hmm.
With rapid technological change, how do you see digital banking, fintech, and insurance technology shaping the future of financial service industry?
Okay, so as I mentioned in my keynote address, when it comes to India's achievement with regard to using UPI, it is a lesson for the world. Even International Monetary Fund has mentioned that India's landscape with regard to digital payment, UPI, is a lesson for the world. Yes, it is very important. And what is the second part of the question?
Digital banking, fintech, and insurance technology shaping the future of financial service.
Okay. And with regard to financial awareness, with regard to digital services, uh, we are saying that, okay, 60 crores of account has been opened, new accounts have been opened. The active accounts we have to see. Secondly, opting for other services. There are risks which is associated with the, fintech, though our regulatory bodies are taking several initiative in order to ensure that that is a safe transaction. uh, I had an issue wherein one time that I was preparing for UPSC exam. I was aspirant of IAS once upon a time, so I ordered a book called as Public Administration through Amazon. The delivery person called me and he said, ma'am, this is the detail of you, and there is some interruption when it comes to the book delivery. You will receive an OTP. Kindly tell me the OTP, and based on that, I will deliver it to you. He was convincing when he mentioned that, okay, that book which I ordered from the platform which I ordered, and that address, whatever it is, everything he was mentioning. So I believed and I shared the OTP. Next fraction, I lost 24,000 from my account. Okay. Uh, yeah, I was UPSC aspirant, and I am also, PhD in banking and my knowledge in banking. I immediately went and I registered a complaint in cybersecurity. And I also threatened Amazon, see, this is my private data. How somebody can access the private data? Immediately, if at all the money is not reimbursed within 24 hours, I am going to escalate legally. Though I was not knowing much, but I told. Uh, I was so lucky that that 24,000 whatever was debited from my account. I don't know it is from the initiative of Amazon or from the initiative of cyber security. I got the money back. Being an educated person, yes, I had faced this problem. Imagine a person who is illiterate, who is just introduced to the financial services, who is just introduced to the UPI. He knows how to use UPI, fine, but the pros and cons of UPI, they don't know. Definitely, there is risk arising, and the regulatory bodies should make the initiative in order to address this kind of challenges.
Finally, what advice would you give to the students preparing for UGC NET or planning to pursue a PhD in commerce?
Uh, yes, it is a good question. When it comes to students pursuing, yeah, can you repeat the question?
Student preparing for UGC NET.
Okay, okay. Students preparing for UGC NET. My experience of UGC NET, I cleared my UGC NET in my third attempt. I cleared my KSET, Karnataka State Entrance Test, in the first attempt. The difficulty level with regard to state level examination and this UGC NET, people say that okay, it is useless exam and all, but in my opinion, it is not useless exam. If you want to become an academician, you should be having a proper knowledge, systematic knowledge, well versed knowledge with regard to the concept. And this UGC NET, NET, National Eligibility Test for Assistant Professors, that test your understanding, in-depth understanding with regard to various areas with regard to the subjects, whatever commerce or management, whatever it is. It is very difficult to crack the exam. It requires dedication, proper study, in-depth understanding of concepts. If you want to go and stand in front of students, it is not just waste of time. It is not you have to serve the purpose. And this exam, cracking this exam will give you the confidence wherein you can be a mentor with regard to imparting knowledge, right knowledge. I mean, you can go and stand in front of the students, you can talk rubbish or nonsense, they don't know, but you should be guiding them properly with the proper understanding of the concept. Your understanding will be tested through this examination. It will definitely enhance your confidence when you go and stand in front of students. Yes, it is very important. When it comes to students who are preparing for this kind of examination, uh, first and foremost, whatever subject you're studying, don't study for the sake of getting marks. In my understanding, I tell my students, don't they come, ma'am, what is the weightage of this particular concept in your final examination? Whether it is important for 5 marks or 10 marks, then I say, I bluntly refuse to answer them. I say, see, don't learn for the sake of getting marks. Learn for the sake of knowing things. In-depth study, understanding is important. That is what will help you in the future as well. So, so my suggestion for them is, when you are studying, don't study for the sake of getting marks. Rather, study the concept in depth. Don't expect everything will be taught by the faculty within the stipulated time, 60 hours or 45 hours based on the credit. You have to do your self work. And when it comes to undergraduation or post graduation, self study is very important. Syllabus has been given, some concept will be, advanced concept will be taught in the class, but you have to uh, do a detailed study, and that is what help you to crack the particular examination.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pallavi, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. Your perspectives on banking, insurance, and financial technology offer important guidance for students, researchers, and the professionals in the field of commerce. We truly appreciate your time and your thoughtful reflections on the evolving financial landscape and academic research. To our listeners, thank you for tuning on today's episode. Stay connected with us for more engaging conversation with the experts and the scholars from various fields. Until next time, this is your host signing off. Have a great day.
Thank you.